Hey, it's Jordan with TYT Network. It is Tuesday, June 14th, 2016. A very beautiful and sunny day in New York. I was gone for a few weeks on the campaign trail in California. So I'll be in New York for a little while reporting. Not sure where I'm going next. Maybe we'll crowdsource and ask you guys where you want me to go. Obviously, about a month and a half until the convention in Philadelphia. But today, obviously, Orlando, and understandably so, has dominated the headlines in the news, much to, not to Hillary Clinton's delight. Obviously, she's not happy about that tragedy, but it actually drowned several stories that did not look good for Hillary Clinton, particularly now that it appears she's going to be going up against Donald Trump. Donald Trump is going to hammer her on several items that have come out once the Orlando tragedy kind of dissipates, and he, assuming he stops focusing on Mexicans, Muslims for 5 minutes and focuses on her. One of the stories that actually has come about, I reported on weeks ago in another video blog, and it pertains to a quid pro quo, where Hillary Clinton essentially gave a mega donor who is a Wall Street guy, zero knowledge of foreign policy, of national security, basically put him on a prestigious national intelligence board that with nuclear scientists.
Chicago stockbroker Raj Fernando. He was named to the prestigious International Security Advisory Board, but resigned last year, shortly after ABC News asked about his qualifications to be on the board. It was not something Fernando wanted to talk about this week.
Who are you? With ABC News.
So this guy, his name is Raj Fernando, was appointed to a national security board with nuclear scientists and other brainiacs that advised Hillary Clinton when she was Secretary of State. His name is Raj Fernando, and basically he runs a Chicago hedge fund, and he donated hundreds of thousands to the Clinton Foundation, and later was appointed to this board. New emails have come out in recent days. ABC reported this first. So new emails show that when ABC started asking questions about Fernando in 2011, Clinton Chief of Staff to her as Secretary of State, Cheryl Mills, essentially instructed a press person for the State Department to stall for 24 hours, basically saying stall ABC, don't tell them anything for 24 hours until we could kind of come up with a cockamamie version of events why this guy with no national security experience was put on this board. So she told Cheryl Mills, Clinton's chief of staff while Secretary of State, told the press aide to stall. Ironically, a day later, Fernando resigned from the board. He basically said, I have too much on my plate with my main business, so I can't do this. Thanks for the honor. If that's not quid pro quo, nothing is. I mean, that's a clear indication that Hillary Clinton, in the not-so-recent past, in return for very, very large donations, this guy, ABC said, gave her reportedly $250,000 to the Clinton Foundation. He's also been a very big donor to President Obama in the past. In return, he was put on this board. It was such a dumbfounding decision. People on the board were wondering, who is this person and why is he here? So it didn't go over people's heads. It was very surprising at that time. Again, the emails that just came out in her continual, the drip of emails that keep coming out from her time as Secretary of State essentially show Hillary Clinton's people, basically trying to come up with a satisfactory answer why this guy with no business being on this board was put on the board, and then a day later he resigned. So that's quid pro quo, and Donald Trump and the Republicans are certainly going to use it. With Orlando happening, Hillary Clinton hasn't had to answer for it. I wouldn't be surprised if the media just drops it from there because they don't want to cover the money in politics. Right now, their basically narrative is all anti-Trump, anti-Trump. Obviously, there's plenty of anti-Trump that's justified, but to not cover what appears to be a very, very clear, you fund my wallet, I'll scratch your back, is a real dereliction of duty. Moving on to the next story, the International Business Times reports the State Department is blocking the release of emails from Hillary Clinton while she was Secretary of State that pertain to the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership Trade Deal. They're delaying it till after the election. Very interesting, huh? correspondence from Hillary Clinton and her top State Department aides about a controversial 12-nation trade deal will not be available for public review, at least not until after the election. The Obama administration abruptly blocked the release of Clinton's State Department correspondence about the so-called Trans-Pacific Partnership after first saying it expected to produce the emails this spring. The State Department originally said it estimated the request would be completed by April 2016. Last week, the agency said it had completed the search process for the correspondence, but also said it was delaying the completion of the request until late November 2016, weeks after the presidential election. The delay was issued in the same week the Obama administration filed a court motion to try to kill a lawsuit aimed at forcing the federal government to more quickly comply with open records requests for Clinton-era State Department documents. In English, what that means is the Obama administration, in concert with Hillary Clinton's campaign, is trying to block damaging information from her time as Secretary of State from coming out before the election. This is very black and white. There's no reason. I mean, all you got to do is press search, TPP, in her emails, and a treasure trove will come out. The reason they're blocking it, I mean, there is no reason. I heard a State Department official say yesterday, oh, it's a lot of information and we get hundreds of thousands of other requests. No. This is Politico, and the Obama administration is involved in trying to block it. I think what's also kind of interesting in it is it really shows, the most damaging part of it, it would show and add credence to this narrative that Hillary Clinton will say whatever she has to say, whenever she has to say it, to get elected. When she was Secretary of State, she basically called the TPP the gold standard of trade deals. When Bernie Sanders was rising in the polls, obviously against the TPP, she said, oh, in its current form, it's not satisfactory to me. These emails, obviously it's my speculation, would again reinforce her rabid support for it and her probably pushing the president to expedite the process of it. So the collusion between the Obama administration and her on this is clear and eye-opening. There's another story involving the emails. Add on that the State Department is now delaying the release of documents that would show whether Clinton helped a defense contractor under investigation. From the International Business Times. The State Department told a federal judge late last week that it would miss another deadline in a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit for Hillary Clinton-era records. Just so you know, Freedom of Information requests come from the media. So I could file a Freedom of Information request. The main corporate media outlets do so frequently to get information out. The records requested relate to a 2011 illegal arms trafficking investigation of BAE Systems, a British defense contractor that lobbied the Clinton State Department through a firm with deep personal and political ties to the former Secretary of State. In papers filed in a federal court, government lawyers said the State Department would be unable to meet a deadline set for Monday in a lawsuit filed by the Associated Press last March. The government is now asking for an October 17th deadline, which falls just weeks before the general election. That delay comes after the State Department came under fire last week when it announced that it would not be able to turn over records from Clinton's tenure related to the controversial Trans-Pacific Partnership until after the election. So basically they're saying mid-October, which would be 3 weeks before the election. That could be damaging, but seeing what we just saw about the TPP, seeing what we're seeing about this, who's to say it's not going to be delayed in mid-October, that they need to look for something else until after the election. So that's two stories pertaining to her emails and the Obama administration and the government working together, it seems, to delay what could be damaging information from coming out. The Hillary Clinton naysayers who watch this will say, oh, you're just a Bernie bot, you're a Bernie bro, you're just, throwing wild, inaccurate information. I mean, these are facts. These are, reputable news organizations and emails that have come out showing these things. It's not me making it up. I think the troubling aspect is when you have things like Orlando coming, which obviously should be first in the news. I'm not arguing against that. But when you have things like that, when you have Donald Trump saying one stupid thing, one racist thing, one xenophobic thing after the other, really many things that kind of could be Hillary Clinton's 47% moment, things that kind of are, these are the things that Bernie Sanders would not go as far to say. when Bernie Sanders was asked, can you give us a specific example of quid pro quo? He just wouldn't go there. I mean, these are those items, many of these, but they're not going to be covered because essentially the corporate media has no interest really in adding facts and evidence to that narrative of she'll scratch your back, she'll give you whatever you want if you give her money, and especially when these kinds of stories could so easily be drowned out by terrorism or Donald Trump's stupidity. So it's going to take the Young Turks, other independent media to keep bringing it to the forefront. Whether Democrats listen to them or not, I'm not saying this as someone who supports Bernie. I'm saying this in a general election. Things like this only add to Donald Trump, whether he's fascist or not. I see that. They're going to add to the crooked Hillary narrative. Donald Trump cannot call Bernie Sanders crooked. I mean, the only thing you could call crooked is his glasses, maybe. You're not going to be able to go against Bernie Sanders on the grounds that he's corrupt or crooked or any of these things. So the more things that come out, if Donald Trump kind of softens his tone a little bit on anti-Muslim rhetoric, anti-Mexican rhetoric, all of the things he's saying, and comes off a little bit more presidential, which is possible. These are very, very simple and easy things he could use against her, especially on a debate stage. And again, I've said this for a while. Let's not pretend Donald Trump can't get Hillary Clinton's Wall Street transcripts in 5 minutes. Let's not pretend some Republicans don't already have them. Ted Cruz's wife works at Goldman Sachs. So there's a lot of things underneath that are not good for Hillary Clinton that if the media does its job, Trump's campaign will assumedly do its job, it's going to weaken her as a general election candidate. So that's the news on Hillary Clinton. Again, I'm in New York doing some reporting this week, and my next stop probably be in the next, I'd say 2 weeks. I'll keep you guys posted on where I'm going. Keep tweeting me at Jordan Sheridan, and tell your friends, tell your mother, the mailman. YouTube.com/TYT Politics. Thanks for watching.